So does Herbie do his own stunts? Absolutely. Herbie was a stunt car to begin with and became an actor, so he likes to do his own stunts. Still does.
He does a little barrel roll, rides a fence like you would on a skateboard.
This car does spectacular and unusual things.
How many people can say they worked with Herbie? That's like a once-in-a-lifetime chance.
He has to be able to do rail slides.
Just step on the gas and just lift the front wheels up.
It's the little engine that could aspect of it. I mean, I think Herbie, he's right there. I don't want to talk about him when he's right behind me.
Exciting stunts in the show all surround Herbie. The whole movie surrounds Herbie. Herbie is doing a lot of zany rail slide, wheelies, the typical Herbie stuff.
We try to figure out what we could really do practically, stunt-wise versus CG. And we always try to do as much practical as possible.
We talked to Angela, the director, and she wanted to stay away from making a digital Herbie if possible. And so we had to come up with creative ideas of how to achieve that. Angela and I got along very well. She has a definite view of how Herbie should be. She wants to keep Herbie Herbie-esque like the old films.
For me, I'm like Herbie is a character, and his character is the 63 bug. I didn't want to rely a lot on CG or computer-generated Herbie.
Herbie is this car that does things that no one could ever imagine a car like that doing.
We start thinking how we're going to do this, how we're going to make all these specialty cars to do the things that we want to do.
Each sequence had its own challenges. Working out the rail slide was challenging. The demo derby, we had some moves in there. 90% physical. We had to go into the digital realm for some of them. We did a fun remote control crash out at the Speedway for the NASCAR sequence.
I think we're able to do a lot more things with everything in terms of the action of the movie. So it's amazing, some of the stunts that go on.
In the movie, Maggie's a skateboarder, and early on in the picture, Herbie sees her skateboarding and starts to incorporate her skateboarding moves into how he drives.
One of the things that came out really great was Herbie doing a rail slide, like a skateboarder on a handrail. Well, Herbie goes on a guardrail, and he's sliding down the guardrail, and they wanted the tilt back and forth and the whole slide and the wheels hanging off.
Originally, that was going to be done all visual effects. I said, you know, I know we can do this for real. Let us go for it. And they did.
Effects department had to do hours and hours of work creating 4 different Herbies for just the rail slide sequence. Each Herbie was different. One of them we hit the front of the guardrail with, which we just jumped, and whatever happened to him, we didn't care. We had 2 rail slide Herbies that were counterweighted on the offside of camera that we could actually put on the rail.
We built a whole deck that the car could be on, and it was on a counterweight. And we had the ramps on the other side so they would go up and down a little bit so the car would look like it had a life to it, so it didn't look like it was just driving. You know, those are the little tricks that make something like that work.
They designed that all out without ever having to test it. We never had the time to test it. And it all came together, and we put it up on the rail, and it worked beautifully. And so we got a lot of action out of him in the real world that we thought going in we may have to do digitally.
Did you see the way I came off that guardrail?
Demo Derby, that was my favorite because it was all done pretty much practical. Everything in that Demo Derby was real, other than a couple of shots. We had Herbie doing all kinds of stuff, jumping, going on 2 wheels.
This car can do all kinds of things. It's sort of an acrobatic Volkswagen.
Whenever we're doing stunts like this, my worst fear is having an accident and hurting someone. In the stunt world, everything can turn bad quick unless you're really on top of it. And Demo Derby, we had a lot of cars crashing around our actress, Lindsay. Cars were crashing in front of her, behind her, going by her at speed. That's where you really start worrying.
Okay, guys, here we go. Pictures up, cars going to 1.
It could be called dangerous, but it was something that we took the time, worked all the moves out. We had what we called our turtle move. Herbie's saving the day with Lindsay.
We did it many ways. We had one where we had the car already down, had the person inside, and then pulled the car up and shot it in reverse. Then we had the one where the car actually started on its 4 wheels and flipped over quickly, had the person to the side of the car, so when you're shooting it from the side, you can't tell the person's not underneath it.
We had Olay Herbie, left and right, which would go up on 2 wheels.
They had it on hydraulic, where the person inside the car would push a button and it would cause the car to go up. They did a lot of good stuff with Lindsay on that, which is nice. It's nice when you can tie the actress in to the real stuff as much as possible.
Lindsay's great with that stuff. She gets in there and gets it right away.
This is one that I actually got to do that wasn't green screen. I was really scared to do it, but it was really fun. We did it on both sides, so that was my favorite trick, because I actually got to do it.
I think putting a 63 bug in a NASCAR world is just a very clever and entertaining idea.
We were able to actually go to the NASCAR races, and we were able to actually bring Herbie out and race Herbie on the track. We were there with Jeff Gordon and everyone, and Jimmy Johnson and all these other people, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. It was just incredible.
Nextel Cup drivers were coming down the grid to get a picture with Herbie and sitting in the NASCAR Herbie. So that was pretty neat.
I mean, to be out at California Speedway during the Nextel Cup, it's just so surreal. It's a different world. It's just a completely different type of world.
I really wanted to shoot a big action movie with car races. All the people at NASCAR were so supportive of the movie.
And shooting at the speedway was tough because it's, you know, it's a 2-mile speedway, and it looks like, even if you're going 100 miles an hour, it looks like you're going 20. And the cars are supposed to be going 200, and we only could go 80 to 100 in the stuff we were doing. So that was a challenge.
Whoa, those guys are fast.
We did a lot of different things. A lot of it is camera angles. You limit yourself to certain angles that you know will work.
We did a lot of work to put all the cameras in different precise positions around the track so that we could get the best coverage. And we put Herbie actually onto the track in one of the pace laps, which was amazing because the crowd just went nuts when they saw him going around. The announcers actually were like, Herbie's on the track.
We had a lot of big stunts, and we were doing all this stuff at speed. We were going anywhere from 80 to 120 miles an hour.
The scene where Lindsay's brother in the film is qualifying for a NASCAR race. I drove a remote control car into the wall, probably hit the wall at about 100, 110. It looks like a real NASCAR wreck.
We talked about having a driver do it, but we thought, you know what, let's just play it safe. Let's not have anybody in there. That way we can give them a real good crash and not be as concerned on the speed because of the driver.
The remote control car has the equipment in it. It's a real race car. It's a real running car, and we chase it with another vehicle, and there's a person sitting in the right seat with a steering wheel and a gas and a brake pedal that actually controlled the remote control car.
So it gave us free rein to do it, and it worked out really well, and it hit pretty fast.
You're going down, Bug.
It's easy to have a car go real fast, hit a button, have it do a spectacular flip. It's one of the easier things to make look good. Well, in this situation, we couldn't. They wanted the car to slide on its roof, so we had to go a lot slower. That got interesting, but, you know, I think we were able to pull it off.
We built about 3 different NASCAR trip cars just for that sequence.
The obstacles we had in this picture were different than most pictures. Here we have this Volkswagen that's actually racing with real race cars on a track, hitting at 110 miles an hour. So we knew that one wrong hit, one wrong anything could get this car flipping on this track at that speed.
When we first started, we thought, okay, we've got Herbie, which is a 1962 to 65 Volkswagen that's old. You know, how is he going to hold up around these stunts we're doing? Every car that tangled with Herbie went down. Herbie always came back, always did.
Here's this ugly duckling of a car who's got, you know, the outer shell of a VW Bug, but like, you know, heart of a champion or the engine of a champion.
How's Herbie to work with an actor? He's phenomenal. He's great. He's fun. He's always fun to drive. He gave us very little trouble.
Herbie's beloved for a reason, and I think that carries through in the movie.
It's Herbie the Love Bug. It's like one of those movies where the next generation will remember it.
He's a car, but he's magic. So I love him.